Hello everybody, welcome to a Facebook Live with Jeannie. I am Jeannie Nielsen, the Card Lady, and I'm very excited to be here with you today. I have to say I'm not sure if I'm going to see comments because I forgot to bring my computer here, but I will say hello to you now and tell you that I will respond to comments later. I'm so excited to be here with you today. On my Facebook page, I'm Jeannie Nielsen, the Card Lady, but I am also the team leader for Paper Crafting Genies. And I wonder where that play of words came from. But anyway, thank you for joining me. I'm so excited to be here. I wanted to show you a couple of the cards that I am doing for my card class tonight. And it's using the adorable stamp set Easter Friends. Now this stamp set is available probably until the end of June, although I do have to say it's not carried over that I remember in the new annual catalog, and you know how there is a last chance list also for the mini catalog that comes around about a month before the end of a catalog date. So it is quite possible that it will be on the last chance list and it'll be a while supplies last. It's a perfect time now to get it. You still have a week before Easter, and the card I'm going to show you is super adorable. So this is the stamp set. I'm using the bunny today. And I thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you like my video, share it, let me know, show me some love, share it to your pages, your groups, your timeline, anything you want, so you can share the love of stamping with other people. I'm very excited tonight. I'm having my Easter Friends card class, Easter Friends treats and cards. And I didn't think that 3 cards was enough and 3 projects. So I added a 4th card and a 4th project. So I told everybody to come early because otherwise they're going to be spending the night here. Since I worked last night, I'm not in favor of that idea. Anyway, love you guys and thank you for always stamping with me and joining me on my Facebook Live. So I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to flip down. I honestly was thinking that I might try to flip the long way and see how that works, but I'm a little worried about doing that. So let's see if I do that here. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it doesn't like while I do that. So, okay, we're not going to do that. Okay, we're just going to flip down, upside down, and I'm going to go right here so you can see everything going on here. The mini catalog, it's on page 27. Easter Friends is the name of the stamp set, and the bunny is super adorable. So I'm going to show you a card with 2 variations, but this is the card. Here's my host code for April, by the way. You will definitely get a thank you card for me if you use the host code, and also an embellishment or something else. Seeing as it is the beginning of a new catalog, it could have something to do related to the new catalog. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully you can read that. So stampingwithjeannie.stampinup.net is my store. Thank you for shopping with me. Okay, so here is the card we're going to make today, except I'm going to change it up a little bit. Because this is the card we're making tonight, I'm also going to do it in blue and pink, and I'll show you that in just a second. I wanted to show you one more card, and that's this card. It's a fancy fold card. Isn't that so cute? It uses the pansy paper, and of course this is stamped in basic gray. This bunny on just regular paper, but of course I had to use some Wink Stella to do something special with it. So anyway, let's put those aside, and I'm going to try and make this card in some different colors using the Easter Friends stamp set. So first of all, I'm kind of off here because I do notice a lot of times you see my lap and everything going on, but you don't necessarily see the stamping. And last week, I feel like it was a little bit better with me kind of moving my stamps off that way. So anyway, let's first start by embossing our layer. So this one, I used one of the, I don't even remember the names of all the embossing folders. They're in the back of the annual catalog, and there are so many of them. There are 3D embossing folders and standard embossing folders, and I'm going to show you how to emboss one of each real quick. Okay, so first of all, we are going to emboss a regular embossing folder. And I chose this one. I think it's really, really cute. This is done with Blushing Bride, I believe. When you're doing that, you're going to sandwich it between two regular plates. So that's what I'm doing here. Two of the number 3 plates. I'm going to sandwich it there for a regular embossing folder and roll it right through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss. Now, because this is a folder that's about 4.5 inches wide, you do realize that I have to use my large embossing machine. When I can, and I will for the second part of my video when I'm doing some die cutting, I like to use my mini boss, as I call it. So this next one is a 3D embossing folder. This is, I believe, the Timeless Type 3D embossing folder. What I'm going to do for that one is put it on top of my base plate, and I'm just going to add this gray number 4 plate over top, and I'm going to once again roll it right through. So for a regular embossing folder, you're going to do it, sandwich it between 2 of the number 3 clear plates, and for a 3D plate, you don't use any of the number 3 plates, you just use the number 4 on top of your thick embossing folder along with your base plate. Okay, so I'm doing this because I have to have 2 different cards because I'm going to do a blue and a pink. And one of them I think is going to make an adorable baby card, but we'll see. Lots of babies coming up at work. 'Tis the season. I think we have 5 girls going out the beginning of June. So look at how pretty those are. This one looks 3D, even though it was a standard embossing folder. Okay, so let me move my plates and embossing folders off, out of the way, and I'm going to move this, and we're going to stamp with the bunny from Easter Friends. I have a lot of things ready to go. I have 2 thick white bases, one for each here. We'll glue them on in a second, but first I'm going to start with some stamping. And what I want to do, I'm going to stamp in 2 different colors. And I did this the other day and it worked beautifully, so I decided to make a card for card class because you guys are going to love this. This is the shimmer paper, a specialty paper, of course, always in the regular catalog. I don't need to be stamping on my Stampin' Pierce mat necessarily if I'm using one of our cling stamps. Works much better with photopolymer. I would never stamp without this with a photopolymer, but because I'm going to protect my area, we are going to do this like this. Okay, so first what I'm going to do, and I just realized that I didn't bring my cleaner with me, but let's start this way anyway. Okay, so I've got my soft suede ink pad, and I'm going to, because this is a large stamp, I like to bring my ink pad to my stamp. So we're going to do that there, and I'm going to stamp him kind of to the side and closer to, kind of to the bottom, not quite, kind of in the middle, but off to the side, because if you remember, I have daffodils here that I'm going to stamp. Okay, that's that one. And then what I'm going to do too, you know what, let's start with the next part because I don't know, I do want it to dry a little bit, but what I'm going to use is one of my water painters. And I've squeezed a little bit of water to the edge just so it's damp. I don't want it soaking wet because it'll wash it off the paper. What I'm going to do is just start painting my bunny. And I'm just going to follow the lines. And a lot of those lines will stay. I'm going to try and avoid the white areas. I'm just going to stick to the dark. I'm going to follow the artist's directions essentially by just following the lines that they've made when they designed this bunny stamp. I'm the first one to say that I am definitely not an artistic person, but that doesn't mean I can't be creative. And thankfully with stamps, I'm able to do that. I'm going to have to be faster than this or this is going to take me all night and people are going to be arriving for class before I even finish. But see how it is, how easy it is to just follow the lines. And I'm not doing a super fancy, careful job. I'm just kind of going over it. If I don't rub too much, I'm not going to lose the fine lines of the stamp that are there. But if I kind of follow the grain of it, then it kind of makes it look more realistic. You can see that you can see the lines still as I'm coloring this. And I'm going to try this again with gray granite in just a minute. Let me just finish this little guy here. I think we're going to call this one, I don't know. What do you think this bunny should be called? It has to have a girl name because it's going to go on my pink card base. So that's it. That's all we're going to do. My dogs are going to bark because they always bark when I get on my Facebook Live. There we go. So there we go. Beautiful. So easy. Now I'm going to show you one more thing that I did with this card, which was super easy. I actually used a black journaling pen because that's what I have. I like to use them for a lot of my details. This was Project Life journaling pens. They got discontinued a few years ago, and I ordered several packs of them because I like the fine tip. I like to be writing with them. What I'm going to do is once again kind of follow the line of the eyes here, but I'm going to leave a little bit of the white there because that's going to make it look more realistic. But doesn't it look like the bunny comes to life by drawing in those eyes just like that? It's so beautiful. Okay, let's set this aside. That's for my pink card. And we're going to do this again with my gray granite. So here's my second piece of shimmer paper. I'll bring my stamp here. And I'm going to stamp that again off to the side. And I'm probably, oh, so beautiful. I'm probably going to do for this, you've seen daffodils that have like a pink trumpet. That's what I'm going to do with my pink card. But with the gray bunny, I think, you know what? I think this has to be Fred. I think this has to go with this one, if you ask me. It just looks, let's just see how that works. Okay, so once again, let me clean my water painter and we're gonna paint again. Let's have fun painting. While I'm painting, I gotta tell you, we're gonna be announcing it Sunday, but I am joining with 2 other demonstrators to do a fundraiser for Ukraine because just like everybody, we want to do something. We want to be useful for these people. We want to make a difference for these people. We feel so bad and a little bit helpless that we're over here and we can't do anything. And the fundraiser by Sarah Douglas last week, hopefully you had a chance to donate to that. It was to Lifting Hands International. We are going to do it for the same organization, Lifting Hands International. And what we're going to do is have a Memories and More class. We're going to actually have a Zoom class in May, a Thursday night in May. We're going to do a Zoom with everybody, and I'll have my stamping studio open if you'd like to do it here. But Michelle Salchow and Judy Tuttle from Nebraska, Michelle's from Nashville, we've met in past events and have connected, and we are going to connect together to make this awesome class for you guys. You know, I don't think it matters. Look at this, even though it's gray granite, it still kind of has that brown tint to it. Isn't that so adorable though? And look how easy that was. Not hard at all. So I'm gonna let these both dry. Let me draw the eyes just like I did for the other bunny. I'm once again going to leave a little bit of the white there because I think that's what brings the bunny to life. I hope you're joining me today and enjoying this stamping demonstration using the Easter Friends stamp set. Make sure you like my video and share it if you do like it. Give me a thumbs up, whatever. Give me some hearts. Okay, so I think I'm going to switch this again. I am going to do the gray granite with the blue, and I'm going to do this with the Blushing Bride piece. And to me, I think Blushing Bride is a pink that has a lot of brown in it. So I think this is going to work. Okay, we're going to set these off for a second, and we've got to do some stamping yet and something with our blends. So I've got two pieces. Hopefully I've got time to do all this. What I'm going to use is the Daffodil Daydream stamp set. I've got two stamps, the big ones, and what I did here was I layered both of them and I colored. So the one with the pink is going to obviously be a little bit easier to do because I don't have to color in the whole stamp. But I'm going to use Memento because I'm coloring with my blends. Blends, you need this water-based ink, and then our alcohol Stampin' Blends work really well with that. Okay, I'm going to stamp that here. And notice again, it's a big stamp, so I brought the ink pad to my stamp. Look at how beautifully that stamps. So I'm going to do that again with my smaller Daffodil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it right here. I think I've got room. Yeah, I did go off the paper a tiny bit. Okay, one more time for my second card. Hopefully we have time for all of this. If we don't, I will tell you that I will show you what I make later. Beautiful. And one more, the smaller Daffodil that layers in front. I did want to do something different with the blue card, and I don't know if it's going to work or not. That didn't stamp as dark as I would have liked. I have here the bow tie from Handsomely Suited, and I'm going to also stamp that here because I want to try putting a bow tie on my little guy for my baby card. So I'm trying to show you that this Easter Friends is adorable, but it's not just for Easter. So let's start with our Granny Apple Green blends. And this is going to be really super simple and super quick, I think. I'm going to just kind of outline the sides of my leaves and stuff, because I'm going to color again really quickly with a light. And I don't mind this looking watercolored. I don't mind it at all. And this will cut out with the die, so it doesn't really matter if I'm exact or not. I guess it would look nicer if I was a little bit more careful, but like I said before, we don't have all day. So let's stamp knowing that I do have an end time in mind. So my ladies are going to be here for my stamping class tonight. I'm so excited. 7 ladies. Can't wait for them. I'm so excited to get to, I find that I'm more inspired, and I hope you are too, when I stamp with others. And I'm sorry I don't see any comments. Feel free to comment because I will reply later. It probably won't be until after my stamping class, but I will reply. And once again, I'm not seeing anybody's comments, so it sounds like I'm just talking to myself, and I apologize for that, for rambling on and on. One more thing I guess I should tell you guys about. I have my stamping retreat on April 30th. That's a one-day retreat here in Lynnfield, Massachusetts. There's a church here which has a beautiful hall, great lighting, lots of room. They set up the room for me the way I asked them to. We have food, crafting, raffles, prizes, goodie bags, all sorts of things. It's unbelievable, actually. Registration for that closes on Sunday. Okay, I'm going to try coloring my trumpets with, and this is for my pink card. I'm going to try, you know what, I'm going to do it with this one. Coloring it with a light Flirty Flamingo. So light, yes. What I may find is that I'm going to have to pull some of it off with the color lifter, because I may want to instead use some Petal Pink, because it might be a little bit less in your face. So let's see how we're doing there. I'm not being super crazy about that. Let's see. take a little bit off with my color lifter just so that I can add some Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to have to use the dark petal pink because otherwise I'm afraid. Oh, that's kind of a nice color, isn't it? It's a peachy pink. I think the light petal pink would be too light, but by doing it over the light Flirty Flamingo, it works really well. The other thing I'm going to do for these whites, because otherwise they're not going to have any color, is just use a little Wink of Stella. Now, Wink of Stella is not alcohol based, so you do know that you're going to have to, you don't want to do too much over the memento because it will smear. So I just do one swipe. I don't go back and forth and color it in really well, because otherwise you are going to have a muddy mess on your hands. Okay, and then the only other thing I forgot was that I did want to color a little bit with my light Granny Apple Green. And that's going to add so much more, isn't it? Just like that. Oh, almost colored in my petals. No one doing that even with the color lifter. The color lifter is great, but it's not magic. So you have to be really careful. If you don't want any color there, don't put it there in the first place. And a lot of people wish that there was a magic lifter, like for when we stamp for our regular stamps. And I have to say there really isn't. There's no magic lifter that I've heard of yet. Okay, this one again, a little bit of the light Granny Apple Green over top. And I'm really just doing this quickly, just to kind of fill in the lines. A lot of it is going to get die cut, but I don't mind it looking kind of watercolored. And one of my people always says, if it's perfect, it probably does not look handmade. And she's absolutely right. Okay, really quickly, let's do a little bit of Daffodil Delight and a little bit of pumpkin pie on this one before I cut all of these out. I'm sorry, I wanted to use the bold tip. When I'm coloring in, I like to use the bold tip. When I'm writing or just following some lines, it works. And like these stems, it kind of works better to use the more fine tip. These are all yellow. I'm going to go over it a tiny bit with some pumpkin pie. Just a tiny bit. My son is home today. I hear him upstairs. I'm trying to ignore him because I came home from work. I worked overnight, got home this morning, all set, and I'm crawled in bed, and through my do not disturb, my son calls and tells me the car has overheated. He opens up the hood and it looks like there's coolant all over the engine. So I think we have a major expense on our hands. And the worst part is, I thought we got this fixed not very long ago. Just a little bit of pumpkin pie, just to give it a little bit of color. And I'm not doing a real careful job. Just kind of coloring a little bit right here. And I see one more part right here that needs a little bit of Granny Apple. Right here. Forgot that. Okay, I think we're good. I don't have a butterfly that, but we don't have time for butterflies today because we have to do some die cutting and finishing before tomorrow. So I've got my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. This is also affectionately termed the Mini Boss. I have my plates here. I like to do this cabinet liner underneath. Hopefully you can still see my, oh, I forgot. I didn't color in, oh, one more thing. One more thing. I did want to color in my bow tie just a tiny bit. And I have a light balmy blue and a gray granite, and I'm going to kind of make it striped. I'm doing this kind of, I'm giving myself some artistic license. I'm kind of coloring it, but definitely not staying in the lines. Isn't this so fun to color? This is one of my favorite pastimes, especially if I'm stressed, to just sit here and color. Ooh. One more. Stella. And I could do that on my other ones too, but I think they've got the yellow color, so they're going to be fine. Isn't that so pretty? Look at how pretty that is. I think I mixed this up though. I think I meant to do this, the pink, but once we die cut it, we can put it wherever we want. So let's see. Okay, so last week I told you that my friend Judy said to use the number 3 plate instead of the second number 2 plate on top, and it works really well. So let's see how that's going to work. Oh, and you know what? This is bigger than I need for my Stampin' Cut and Emboss, so we're going to have to cut this out just like this so it fits in my machine. Let's do that again with this one. Okay, I think we're ready. Can you see what I've used? I'm using the dies from Daffodil Daydreams. And the other thing I have to say, when you are die cutting, unless you are, and I do see in the new catalog, they are going to be coming out with magnetic plates. That's super. That's really, really super. Until they do though, I'm telling you, you know what? I'm going to use my second number 2 plate. I know it works, and I don't want to embarrass myself, so let's do that. Until they do, I'm a big believer in using Post-it notes. You could use washi tape, but I find that the washi tape sometimes is a little bit stickier, and especially after it has run through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, it could even potentially rip the paper. So you may not want to do that. Okay, there's one. Let's cut out our second one with the yellow. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm right here, putting it right through my machine, adding my Post-it note over so it's not going to slip and slide. And we're just going to roll it through. And because I've got my cabinet liner, it is not so terribly, it's a little wobbly. I'm sorry I'm shaking the camera, I'm sure, but it's not terrible. Okay, that's our second. Now let's cut our smaller one. I got smart this time. Look at what I did. I brought a magnetic, not a plate, but a magnetic piece of cardboard so that I could just put my dies back on there so they're not going to get lost when I'm done. Remember last week I had lost the seahorse when I did it. I hope you enjoyed last week's class. That was one of my favorite cards to make. Okay, run this guy through. See, I'm not putting a lot of pressure. I'm not even standing up. And let me tell you, that's a big thing for me because I love to stamp standing up. Oh, it did move a little bit, so I might have to just do a little bit of, I wasn't being super careful, I guess. I'm going to just do a little bit of trimming right here, just a tiny bit. And I'm not going to be super careful. I'm just going to, just a tiny bit just to make it a little bit neater, like it was supposed to be. See how I'm doing that? Okay, good enough. It's going to layer on top of my card anyway, and it's going to be on top of my other daffodils. Okay, last one plus my bow tie. Hopefully you're all still with me. Thank you for joining me today. This Thursday afternoon, we are expecting rain tonight. It's about, I think it's about 45 degrees. I'm actually a little bit chilly. Our heat has not kicked off yet. My mom is visiting my sister in Virginia right now. She said she was sitting on the porch yesterday. She had to take her sweater off. It was 80 degrees and sunny. I told her I didn't want to hear anymore. Only kidding. I'm so glad that they're enjoying their time down there with her. Okay, this guy. I don't want to have to do the hand cutting for my bow tie too. That's the whole idea for die cutting, that you don't have to hand cut, right? Okay. Sorry about, as Judy says, the blah, blah, blah. But I don't do well with silence. So, and I don't know if you guys are watching and enjoying or not. So, okay, there's my little bow tie. My little guy, it moved again. Ugh. But you know what? I'm just going to cut this part. Everything else can stay. Okay, let's get rid of our mess. And let's build our card. Really, really easy to build the card. So what I'm going to do is first add some glue to the back of my embossed piece. I don't use a lot of glue, but I'm also not skimpy. But I do want it to be able to stay there. A lot of times I use snail or, well, I did use snail and now more seal. And if the weather gets just right, maybe more humid or whatever, it's not going to be perfect for sticking forever. I know this glue sticks forever. Okay. I'm going to put this on my card front. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is put some dimensionals behind here. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some dimensionals behind here. Pop up my card. That's one thing I really like to do. It's really hard for cards in the store to look handmade, but we can give it dimension, and that's an easy fix when you're building a card to make it look very handmade. So what did I say? Yep, that's going to go on the blue card. I think I like the gray. And I don't know, that it may be, see, I'm putting it off to the side. I think I'm going to end up liking this card best. And do you think this is too big? I don't know. Might be a little bit big. We're going to pop it up with a mini dimensional or two right in the center of the bow tie. And let's pop it up. Yeah, it's a little bit big, but you know what? I kind of like it. Isn't it kind of adorable? The thing is, it hides his cute ears. So maybe I'm going to bring it down just a tiny bit so you still see his ears. Okay, let's add these flowers right here. I'm going to first put dimensionals on the side, especially one side of it, this side. And you notice I flipped it over so I could see. This is kind of going to overlap already. So I might add a little bit of glue right here to this one, to this side of it. But I'll stick with the dimensionals on this side because it's going to be laying on, and then it'll end up kind of like that. Okay. And then I'm going to put this here right in front. And I think I'm going to put another dimensional, probably closer to the bottom right there. Maybe a mini dimensional as well, right up here. Problem with the mini dimensionals, if you have trouble getting the cover off, if you do your thumbnail in the center, sometimes that lifts it a little bit easier. So we'll do it like that. There's one card. Voila, it definitely needs a butterfly. You know what I could probably do though, is add some of our brass butterflies. Let's add this bunny over here. Once again, dimensionals. Some people go crazy with dimensionals. Mine isn't going to move even with 5 or 6 dimensionals, I don't think. But I do love my dimensionals. Okay, right here, off to the side, because we have to have room for our beautiful daffodils here. You know, I'm going to take off a little bit more with the color lifter here, because I really do think that it needs to be a tiny bit more, a tiny bit peachier. So let's take that off a little bit. The color lifter again. See how the pink is coming right off? And then maybe, once again, maybe I'll use the light petal pink this time and see how that goes. I don't want to make it too muddy. If I do this too much, it's going to kind of blur the lines here. There we go. Okay. Once again, oh, now this is going to be adorable. Oh my goodness. I love this one. I love it with the pink daffodils. I mean, who said that daffodils have to be yellow? That is the traditional, and I'm the first one to love yellow daffodils with you. I got about a sea of about 100 in my backyard right now, in my garden. But, okay, a little bit of glue right here on the edge, right there. Right there. And this one, it gets popped up in front. I'm going to put a dimensional behind this part here. Add a little bit of glue because it's already popped up on the other one and over top of the base of my bunny. So I think this is going to work just great. Look at how cute that is. Okay, since I've got everything set up for my cards for tonight, sorry, disappeared for just a second. We're going to add those butterflies that I talked about. These brushed brass butterflies. Aren't they adorable? Could even put one by my bunny's nose, but yeah, that might look a little corny. Okay. Let's put it on this one. Another butterfly right there. And you know what I can, oh, you know, I forgot one thing. Oh my goodness, and this is going to add a little bit of something to the bottom where it's a little bit open. I got my Granny Apple Green ink, and I'm going to stamp the grass from that stamp set down at the bottom. It's not sticking great because of my dimensionals that are there. That's okay. Ah, that was not supposed to happen. You know what you do when you do that? You cover it up with more. Nobody, well, there's another mark, but oh well. A beautiful card now has a stray mark, but the point is you don't have to be perfect. You just have to love what you do and love sharing this with people. And ta-da! Don't you love them? Aren't they so cute? These are your 3 Easter Friends card. This is tonight's card class card, and these are the 2. I think this is going to make a beautiful baby card. I could say welcome little one at the bottom and totally cover up that little splooch, and I could do the same thing with this because a couple of my friends are expecting girls. So let me flip back. Oh, thanks so much for, oh, this is so funny. Thanks so much for, there we go. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I loved sharing this with you. Sorry I was upside down, but that is not unusual for me. Have a great day. Keep stamping, and I will see you next week. Oh, Marilyn. Hi, Marilyn. Marilyn is my upline and has gotten me so, I just love stamping with her and with her group. And if it hadn't been for her, I would not be a demonstrator today. So thank you, Marilyn. I will see you guys all soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye.